I think it was when I was very young, it was about 11, I found a book of photographs belonging to my uncle in Australia, and it was of his time in Vietnam, and it's always sort of stayed with me because there was some violent photographs in there, and I always wondered what they were about, why he'd taken them and who they were of. And so I think that was always sort of eating away at me a little bit, and then I came to write the novel, and that's just what came out. Sal is a 7-year-old girl, or at least she was 7 when I started writing. I think she might have grown up about 8 or 9 by the time I finished it. But she's sort of very loosely based on a photograph I have of my mother standing outside the shack that she grew up in Australia, holding a huge fish, and she's got this sort of blunt fringe, and she looks incredibly sulky. And it's sort of partly based on that and partly based on my childhood. I grew up spending a lot of time on my own in the woods in the Isle of Wight. It sounds slightly strange, but we had a caravan there, and I would just spend summers playing in the woods and making imaginary games up and that sort of thing. So I suppose that's really where she comes from. Really not at all, apart from this idea of the photograph album, that I knew I had an interest in that. I really didn't plan it or anything like that. My agent had seen some short stories I'd done, and then she asked me if I'd write a novel, and I just sat down and I wrote 1,000 words a day for about 3 months, just so I had something to start with, and then it really came out of that, redrafting it, and I just followed the characters and the story from there. I think there's a number on my computer that says 17, but I don't know if I was kidding myself. I think probably proper drafts, I would say 7, more or less rewrites. But yeah, a lot of stuff was thrown away in the end. It gives new breath to the book. It reminds me that it's something to be proud of, and it gives me loads of publicity, which is wonderful, and it means that I'll be able to write my next book.